everybody, my name is Jenna and today is BOOKMAS Day 5. Today's topic is the top 5 classics you read in 2016. Now, as with every other topic we've done so far for BOOKMAS, I really struggled with this topic. So I'm really not one to read classics. I'm not really a big fan of them personally. I think that I appreciate them for what they are, but personally I don't particularly enjoy reading them. But for my university degree, because I'm doing an English major, I do have to read a few classics. So I managed to find 5 classics that I actually did read this year. One of them is a short story and one of them is a play, but I'm just going to count them as classics for the purposes of this video. And so I'm just going to be counting down sort of the order in which I enjoyed reading them. Before we get started though, I wanted to give a huge dishonorable mention to Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. I have tried to read this book twice now. First time I got a chapter through it, the second time I got 120 odd pages through it, and I couldn't finish it. This is the only book I've ever not been able to finish in my life. There is something about it. It's just so dense, it's so boring, and I don't like anything about this book at all, so this is getting a dishonorable mention. So coming in at number 5, I'm going to be talking about the short story, which is The Bloody Chamber by Angela Carter. I read this one for my English course, and it was about a person in France and there was a key and a door, and I don't really know what it was about. It was a really long time ago that I read it. I remember enjoying it when I did read it, but it still wasn't that great, and I'm only including it in this video because I don't really have anything else to include. Coming in at number 4 should come as no surprise to everyone, and that is Mrs. Dalloway by Virginia Woolf. This is another one that I read because of English, and this is one that I definitely didn't really enjoy. I appreciate it for what it is. I appreciate what it did for the literary community, but honestly, it was not a great book, and I am never reading it again. And I'm really worried that I'm gonna have to read another Virginia Woolf book at uni, and I don't know if I can manage that because I barely got through this one. Coming in at number 3 is the play that I read, and that is Othello by William Shakespeare. If you've been following any of my uni book videos, then you'll know that I've read a lot more plays than just this one, but this is the only play that I really truly thoroughly enjoyed, and I'm considering it a classic simply because it is William Shakespeare. I'm not going to go into too much about what this play is about, mainly because, I mean, Shakespeare, you guys should really know what it's about. It's not his most popular play, but it's still one that I really enjoyed, and I really liked this one, so I'm including it as a classic, and I'm including it in this video. Coming in at number 2 is another book that I think you can probably count as a short story, and I actually read this one on ebook, which is something that I never do, and that is The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde by Robert Louis Stevenson. I read this one in preparation for Once Upon a Time Season 6, which, as it turns out, I didn't really need to read it for Once Upon a Time Season 6 because it doesn't really have anything to do with it, but I'm really glad that I did read it. It was really interesting. I really enjoyed it. I found that because it was so short, it was really easy to get through, even though it was a classic, so I ended up really enjoying that one, which was a complete surprise. I had no faith in my ability to actually like it, and I ended up really enjoying it, which was so weird. Coming in at number 1 is Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte. This is the only classic I've ever read that I actually really enjoyed. I love kind of everything about it. I read this one twice now, which is so weird to say that I've read a classic twice. I probably won't be reading it a third time, I'm not gonna lie, but I did enjoy this one. I also watched one of the movies. I did a book versus movie sort of video, which I'll leave linked in the description box below if you want to check out what I thought was different about the two of them and what I thought was great about them. The one thing that I really enjoyed about this book is that it was sort of gothic horror / romance, so it wasn't just a boring romantic book. It had all those gothic elements in it as well, which was something that I really enjoyed. So for that reason, this book was my favorite classic that I read this year, that I was forced to read because of my university degree. I will never read a classic by choice. Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, I read that one because I wanted to, not because uni told me that I had to. So there you go, those were the 5 classics that I read this year and the 1 classic that I didn't. I hope you enjoyed this video. It's not exactly what you should be doing for this day, but like I said, I really don't read many classics, and I know a lot of people will be doing like classics that I should have read this year or something, but like I said, unless I'm reading it for uni, I am highly unlikely to pick up a classic. If you like this video, be sure to give it a huge thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss a thing. Stay random. Bye.